Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Avinash, and in this video I'm going to take you through what exactly this AWS Transfer Family service is. So basically this Transfer Family, right, it helps us to connect to our resources like S3 or EFS by using regular file transfer applications. So for example, you have some data in your S3 bucket and you want to upload some data or download the data. Okay, so but you don't want to provide any AWS access to a user. So basically you want to enforce a user to use SFTP, right, or FTP protocol. So for that you can create a SFTP server within this transfer family. So then you can create some keys and you can provide role and all, you can provide permission, role and all. So then you can allow end user to access these resources you have in your S3 bucket or EFS. Okay, so whenever you listen this for the first time, right, you might confuse a bit, but we are going to perform hands-on so that you can understand it better. So before start creating any server here in this AWS Transfer Family, so I will show you one thing. See, I'm going to create an S3 bucket. Okay, so I'm in Mumbai region. I'm going to create a bucket and I'm going to use this for general purpose, and my bucket name I'm going to call this as a sftp dot transfer dot demo. Okay, hope nobody taken that bucket name, or sftp.transfer.avinash is the bucket name I'm giving, and I'm going with all the default options. Create a bucket. Okay, so the bucket now created. I don't have any objects within this bucket, but now my requirement is I want to provide upload or download access to this S3 bucket for an external user. Okay, see, in general what we can do, we can go to IAM, we can create a user and we can provide that user permission to perform upload or download from this S3 bucket. But the user I want to provide access, right, he is not within my organization. He is outside of my organization. I don't want to give any kind of access, right, on my AWS account. I don't want to take any additional burdens like creating a user or disabling the user or monitoring that user activities. I don't want to perform that. So as he is an external user and as I want to provide permission only on this particular bucket, so what we can do, we can depend on this AWS Transfer Family. So this supports FTP file transfer protocol, SFTP secure file transfer protocol, right? Such type of protocols it supports. So here it works like okay, we are going to create a server. That server is an intermediate one. End customer should have some kind of tools like WinSCP or FileZilla kind of tools. Okay, so then he can use the tool to access the S3 bucket I'm going to provide via this SFTP server. Okay, so first let's quickly create a server. Click on create server. Okay, it is going to ask us select the protocol you want to enable. So I'm going to enable SFTP secure file transfer protocol, file transfer over secure shell. So we have something like AS2. So this is kind of B2B data. FTPS file transfer protocol, secure file transfer protocol. I'm going with SFTP. So then click on next. So now within this SFTP server, we have to create a user. So by using that user and its credentials, the user is going to access this S3 bucket. Okay, so for that, we obviously need to have some kind of uh, authorization, right? Authentication, right? So for that, we have multiple options. We can use Service managed, that means within SFTP itself we can create some private key, public key. We can provide that public key here and we can give private key to end user. So that is one option. And if you already have any directory services, Active Directory integrated to your AWS account in Mumbai region, you can use that directory service also. Otherwise, if you have any custom identity provider, okay, you can use Lambda function or you can use API gateway to connect to your service. So for this demo, I will use the service managed. So that means I'm going to create a user by using SSH keygen, and I'm going to provide that public key to this SFTP server, and I'll provide that private key to the user whoever want to access this S3 bucket. Then click on next, and here whatever the endpoint, right, whatever the SFTP server we are creating, from where you want to access this, you want to provide permission over the internet. So that means the end customer can sit anywhere, right, outside of world, and he can get connect to this endpoint. He can upload or download files. Okay, so that is publicly accessible one. VPC hosted means, so VPC hosted, so we are going to get kind of endpoint, and the permissions are actually managed by security groups. So here also we can use it as an internal or internet facing. Okay, so whenever you are selecting internet facing, it is going to ask us, okay, what VPC you want to use, okay, and which subnet you want to use, which security group you want to use, right? So here we have to create elastic IP addresses, and we can choose that elastic IP addresses here. So this is one option. Another option is publicly accessible. So here the server is going to be accessible over the internet. So this VPC hosted is more secured and compared to this publicly accessible. But see this, this every elastic IP address is going to cost us, and for this demo purpose, I'm going to use this publicly accessible option. And also we are going to get some random ID in that endpoint, and it's not easy to remember this endpoint. So endpoint is nothing but the server name where we have to give. So it's obviously not that much easy. So what we can do, if you already have any hosted zone, or if you have any domain name, corporate domain name, so you can use the domain name. Okay, so for example, I have a hosted zone. The hosted zone name is learnaws.co.in. So basically this is a website, learnaws.co.in. And if you want to see AWS flashcards, you can click here and you can see, you can have a quick description about all AWS services. For example, if you don't know what is AWS Outpost, so you want to know within one sentence, you can go here, it will show you. Okay, we can keep this aside. So but I want to use this learnaws.co.in domain name. Okay, for this, so we can use root 53 alias, and I'm going to give sftp.learnaws.co.in. So this is going to be my endpoint. So in simple, we are going to get an alias record. We are going to get a CNAME record within this hosted zone once we complete this server creation. Okay, so then click on next, and yeah, where is the, what is the resources you want to deliver from this SFTP server? So I'm going to deliver my S3 bucket. Okay, so then select Amazon S3, click on next, and here, so for logging purpose, obviously logging is important if you want to trace something, if you want to identify something, or for troubleshooting also, logs definitely helps us. So I'm going to create a new log group, and we have something called workflows. Whenever a file coming, first what you do, then second what you do, kind of workflows also we can configure. And the server host name and private key, I'm using, I'm leaving this to default. If you, basically this helps you whenever you are migrating. Okay, if you are migrating users from an existing SFTP server, You can give that server private key here. It's obviously optional. If you want to generate and use it, you can use it. And for that, what you can do, you can generate a key, RSA key. So let me do one thing. Let me go to a location and let me create a directory mkdir, and I'm going to create a folder with a name called keys. Let me go inside keys, and here if I want to generate any key for my server, so I can use ssh-keygen. Type of the key is going to be RSA. File name is going to be server key. You can give any name. And you want to give any password? No. You want to enter same password. If you are giving, enter same password. Now in this path on my desktop, under key pairs folders, under keys, you see here server key created, server key dot public key also created, right? So we can give this private key here. We can give the private key here. So yeah, but as I told you, this helps you whenever you are migrating from existing server. I'm not migrating, this is a brand new. And you can give any tag like a project or cost center tags. And yeah, you can give any display banner message like a hi kind of thing. Hi, welcome to Avinash demo. So you know what happened? This message will be visible to all users who connect to the server. Okay, so we can give like welcome message, or we can give some kind of warning messages whenever the user is working on production or critical environments. Yeah, we can give that display banners. And yeah, this TLS session, it's enforced, that is what required. And now scroll down and create a server. So now server creation started. It will take some time. The server state is starting, and also sometime back in our hosted zone we have only 4 records. Once the server creation completed, yeah, we got fifth record also. So if you observe sftp.learnaws.co.in, right? So that is actually mapped to the server endpoint. So if you observe this record, this is the endpoint of my SFTP server. So obviously, so which one is easy to remember, this one or sftp.learnaws.co.in? Obviously this is a bit difficult, so that's the reason, right? I asked AWS to create a CNAME, so I can simply use this sftp.learnaws.co.in. That's easy. Okay, so this server creation will take some time. Once a server is ready, so then we will see how we can create users and how we can access this from end application. Alright, so finally the server is in online state. So it took around 15 minutes to get it to online state. And if you observe, you see here successfully created, next add user to enable access to your server. And also here it's showing as a no users. So click on the server ID, it will show you the server information. So currently what protocols we have enabled, and endpoint type, and what is the custom host name of this endpoint, and the users. So before adding users, we have to create a role, and for that role we have to create a policy. Okay, so for that let's go to IAM. So I'll tell you why we are going to create a policy. So basically the policy, right, it should enforce the user to access only this specific S3 bucket, and the role we are going to attach whenever we are adding the user. Okay, so for that let's go to IAM, navigate to policies first, create a policy. And the policy is for S3 service. Just go here and search S3 and allowed operations. What I'm going to do, I'm going to allow list bucket, and list bucket is fine, and I'm going to allow get object as well as put object. And even if you want to allow the user to delete the object, you can even provide that permission. but I'm okay with get object and put object, upload and download. Okay, so then all the buckets, no, not at all. So I want to provide permission on this specific bucket only, and that too within this bucket we can create a folder, we can limit the user to a specific folder also. So that we will see after some time. Navigate to properties, grab the ARN, okay, and add that ARN under ARN section, then add ARN. Also within this bucket, so whatever the data we have /star also I have added. So then click on add ARN. So then click on next. Okay, I'm going to call this policy as a SFTP policy. Then create policy. Right, so the policy creation completed. So now we have to create a role. So the reason directly we cannot attach policy to this SFTP user we are going to create. So obviously it needs a role. Click on create role. So this role we are going to attach it to transfer. If you search for SFTP, you don't see anything. So just search for transfer. Then click on next. Now whatever the policy we created, attach that policy to the role and give a name to the role, SFTP-role, then create role. Alright, so now the IAM role created and policy also attached to the role. So this part is done. Now second part, whenever you are going to add user, you have to provide a SSH public key. So this public key stores within the server and private key will be with the user. Okay, so this public key and private key is going to authenticate each other. So then only the user can allowed to access the resources. So what is the username you want to give? I'm going to call this user as Avinash. And what is a role? See, I have lot of roles, but specifically I have created SFTP role, right? Just give a refresh and search for SFTP. I have created SFTP role for this and policy none. So policy automatically coming from role. And what is a home directory for the user you are creating for this Avinash user? See, I have lot of S3 buckets. For the Avinash user, I am giving home directory as the bucket I have created, sftp.transfer.avinash. Within this bucket, what is a home folder? See, within this bucket also, we can create folders. Create folder. This folder name is Avinash. See, one bucket I can use for multiple users. For example, I'm going to create another folder with the name Anudeep and one more folder with Aravind. So if you observe here, see this folder, this bucket, yeah, I'm going to use it for entire SFTP purpose. And for Avinash user, I'm going to allow him to use this bucket, this folder only. For Anudeep, this specific buckets folder only. And Aravind, I'm going to restrict here. If you don't want to give any such type of restrictions, you can leave it. You just leave it. So this Avinash user can perform anything. Anything means the role, whatever permission it is giving, upload and download within this bucket. Or I want to restrict him to a folder, we can give the folder also here. Alright, so now this SSH public key is important thing now. Okay, SSH public key. So firstly we have to generate key pair, okay, by using SSH-keygen. So if you are a Windows user, open command prompt and you can type SSH-keygen, then space -t is type of the key, that encryption we are going to use, type of encryption, -f the file name, and I am generating this key pair for Avinash, right? I can give that here. So if you are a Mac user, so you can simply open the terminal, you can go to the location where you want to create these keys, okay? I'm under this location and I'm using same command, whether you are using Windows or Linux operating system, just give SSH-keygen -t RSA-yes, I'm creating a key for Avinash. Then click on enter. It's asking, do you want to set up any password? Now enter. So within this location, within this keys location, if you observe this Avinash and Avinash.pub. So this pub is actually a public key, and here we have to give the public key only. So let's open this public key with any of the text editor like a notepad or notepad++. You simply copy everything, do not disturb this, paste everything as it is here. Then scroll down, click on add. Okay, so now user added here. The user, when you go to server, if you scroll down bit, you can see under users, okay, one user is added. This is a role we attached and one public key is attached to this user, and we have restricted this user's home directory. And can we add multiple keys to this user? Of course, yes. Okay, so yeah, we can add another SSH public key, whatever the one you generated, you can add that here. Okay, so sometimes you want to add multiple, yes, you can do that. So I will do one thing, I'm going to show you this key generation process in Windows operating system also. In Windows, I'm going to call this folder as a keys, and I'm opening command prompt here, ssh-keygen -t rsa-f. Avinash2 is a key name. Okay, so you want to set up any password? No, just click on enter. You see here Avinash2 private key and public key. So you can open this public key with notepad or wordpad. So you can simply copy everything, and you can, if you want to add another, you paste it here, then click on add key. You see now, so this Avinash user now has two keys, so we can use either of the key. Okay, so it's kind of good to know information. It's not mandatory to add two keys. Okay, so now fine, how Avinash user can get connected to the server and how he can access this Avinash folder and to perform upload or download. So if you are a Windows operating system user, we have lot of tools. Okay, WinSCP is a tool. Okay, you can use WinSCP, or you can use FileZilla. So you can download, scroll down, download WinSCP. It should download. Yeah, it's downloaded here. Typical Windows installation, just open and install for all users, accept, next, install. So if you observe, so this WinSCP is now installed in Windows operating system. Okay, let's launch this WinSCP. Just give a double click. Okay, this is what the WinSCP tool looks like. And yeah, obviously we are using SFTP, and here it is asking for host name. Host name is sftp.learnaws.co.in, right? Port number is 22. Username is Avinash. And password, we have not set up any password, right? So we are using a user with public key and private key mechanism. We have we don't have any option to create a user with the username and password. Okay, so then click on advanced, go to authentication. Here observe private key file. Click on this browse symbol, go to the location where you generated key, right? You go here, but you observe it is not showing anything. So the reason, it is displaying only .ppk files. So this WinSCP supports only ppk files. Just select the private key by selecting all files here and select the private key, then click on open. Then so it's trying to convert that file to .ppk format. Why? Because WinSCP supports or works with ppk format. Yes, we are okay to convert and create a new file with PPK format, and we are using it. Then click on OK, then login. Accept it. So you see here, this is authentication banner. Hi, welcome to Avinash demo. Then click on continue. So now it is starting a session. So now whatever the files I have on my desktop, for example, let me create a simple file here. New text file, demo.txt is a file name. This is SFTP demo from Windows operating system. Right, saved it. So this file is on my desktop. So this demo.txt, I want to move it to my server, that is nothing but my S3 bucket. So we can do drag and drop. Yeah, just click on OK. And yeah, you see here, file transfer completed. So now you go to your S3 bucket. Go to your S3 bucket and just give a refresh. You see here, under this Avinash folder, even though we have different folders here, we have restricted the user to access this path, right? So under this Avinash folder, we got that demo.txt file. Okay, if you are going to use any Mac operating system for this demo, so you have tools like FileZilla. You can just try with this FileZilla download, and process is almost simple, same as this WinSCP. Alright, so that is what this AWS Transfer Family SFTP server is. I hope you found this video helpful and informative, and yeah, so we have lot of videos in our YouTube channel for interview preparation, for project related works and latest technologies, right? So you can subscribe and you can get updates from my YouTube channel. All right, so that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you again in next video. Thanks for watching, guys.